Well, let's dig deeper into the Ohio race with our own Tom Basile, who was on the trail yesterday with J.D. Vance. Take a listen.
Between the small towns and cornfields of Ohio, a political wildfire rages that could determine control of the U.S. Senate. J.D. Vance knows that it gets even more intense from here. We met up with him in Perrysburg, Ohio, and if he's at all concerned about the polls, he's not showing it. How do you feel?
Look, I feel really good. I think that the country is not heading in the right direction, and people know that, and they're looking for somebody to take it in a different direction.
What do you think at this point in the campaign is the most important thing that people should know about you, J.D. Vance, the man?
I guess just, I come from a working class family, and I'm never going to forget where I came from. I'm never going to stop fighting for the people who deserve to have a good life in their own country. We have to close the border. We have to get this inflation crisis under control. We do those two things, people will be way better off, and that's what we're going to do.
Together with Donald Trump Jr., it was then on to Marion, Ohio, and another standing room only crowd. What's been the hardest part of this for you? But then also on the flip side, what's been the most enjoyable?
I think that people way overstate how difficult politics actually is. I'm having a good time. I love getting to meet all these people and getting to talk to them. You get to hear all kinds of cool stories about what's going on in people's lives. Sometimes some sad stories, but sometimes, life is sad. It's important to hear the sad stories and the good stories. The only thing that is hard about it is I've got 3 little kids and I love them dearly, and I don't get to see them as much as I would if I just stayed in my private sector life. And I think at the end of the day, it's worth it to try to give them a country that's worth having.
I was born in a poor family. I was raised by my mama and papa because my mom struggled with these terrible opioids, this poison that's now coming into our country at an accelerated rate.
You talked about the fentanyl crisis in the country several times today so far.
Sure.
What does it look like from a policy standpoint if you go to the Senate to try and do something about it, right?
Well, we got to cut down on the supply and the demand, right? And I think that we have to make much more investments in resources for mental health and for drug addiction treatment. It's still hard when people want to take that first step on the road to recovery. It's way too hard to get access to the treatment that they need. The second thing is you've got to cut the fentanyl coming across the southern border.
They say appearing compassionate, but it is not compassionate to let millions of illegal aliens into your country every single year. That's what Joe Biden is doing. It is not compassionate to empower the drug cartels.
What would Mama say at this point in the race?
What's the old Harry S. Truman saying? If you can't take the heat, don't stand in the kitchen. And I think that she'd say, get in there and do something.
Another enthusiastic audience in Columbus, this time the Fraternal Order of Police.
But my Democratic opponent says that he stands for Ohio workers. Well, you can't stand for Ohio workers unless you stand for public safety. You can't stand for Ohio workers unless you're standing for the workers who are patrolling our streets and keeping those streets safe.
In a tight race, J.D. Vance has miles to go before he'll know whether he's become the ultimate local boy done good, one born out of the hardscrabble life of Appalachia.
Yeah, he has that great backstory. I mean, there was the book, Hillbilly Elegy. It became a movie.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people thought he was a shoo-in. And then politics, even though he's saying it's easy, it's been a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and to his credit, he's not running away from his personal narrative.
Right.
That's not what he's doing, because he does have a
great
very unique ability to connect with people who are struggling. Whether they're struggling with addiction, whether they're struggling under the economic terms of today, and so I think he knows that, and he is reaching out. There has been some criticism that he's not working as hard as he should. Yesterday, I will tell you, 3 packed events, he barnstormed across Northwest Ohio. Got a chance to spend some time with him. He's got a very simple message. It's crime, it's immigration, and it's the economy, and as a subset to immigration, it's the fentanyl crisis. And a lot of people, when I was talking to them in Ohio, they were talking about that fentanyl crisis and something that he has some personal experience with because his mother faced addiction. The Vance people will say that one of the reasons why the polls are tight is because Tim Ryan paints himself as being a moderate. They like to point out that he's voted with Nancy Pelosi 100% of the time, and they're trying to tie him to Joe Biden. So it's still a tight race, but it's definitely heating up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tom, thank you. Interesting.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Great to have you. Thanks, Tom.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They
Let me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.